Hello, Daily Drafters. Today is Friday, December 3rd, and thanks for joining me for today's Daily Draft. Today we're continuing our Innistrad Crimson Vow drafts here on the channel. I think today is our 15th. We're starting to get up there in numbers where they start to blur together a little bit, so I hope you're enjoying all of this drafting content for you here on YouTube. Looks like we'll have to re-queue, which is fine. So far in this format, looks like blue-white has been our most successful deck. It's been our two trophies, both blue-white decks. Red-green I've had a lot of success with as well. Other colors, I think black is very, very strong, but it seems to be very contested so far in this this format. So let's see, lots of blue here. Commons, Hookhand Mariner, Cruel Witness, Blood Fountain, but none of these are really first pickable. Let's see, Mirror Hall Mimic, 4 mana, enters as a copy of any creature on the battlefield except it's a spirit, and disturbs for 5. Let's see, at the beginning of your upkeep, create a token that's a copy of enchanted creature except it's a spirit. Yeah, so this is pretty busted if they don't have an answer to it. I've never seen this on the battlefield yet, this format, and I haven't seen it in a pack yet. But bad news about taking this is we're passing a lot of good blue as well. So maybe we can hook and cut our neighbor, but the problem is if they take blue and hold on to it, pack 2 could be a little rough for us as far as blue goes. But I don't think we can pass up on Mirror Hall Mimic here. Alright, so best card in this pack is probably either Imprisonment or Edgar's Awakening. I have not been a big fan of Catgeist. Skywarp Scob is just fine. I don't know if I'm willing to branch out into another color already and pick 2 here, but these cards are just so, these blue cards are just so replaceable, and I think Imprisonment is the card that is most likely to make my deck, even starting blue. Blue and white, these are both enchantments. They want to go in the blue-white deck. So if that deck's open, this is a great start to that deck. So I think we'll go ahead and take Imprisonment here. Okay, now the very clear best card in this pack is Rending Flame, and it's not even close. So I think we have to take Rending Flame. Yeah, what are we even passing? Hookhand Mariner, maybe? Blood Fountain, that's about it. So Rending Flame is really the only card that we're willing to consider here. So we'll go ahead and just take Rending Flame and see where we go. Don't really like starting 3 different colors here, but it's what you got to do sometimes. Okay, so here we go. We've got Abrade, which is great. We've got Ancestor and Heron of Hope, which are also just fine in the blue-white deck. So I think Ancestor is worse enough than Abrade to not want to take it this early. So I think I'm going to go ahead and take the Abrade. And unfortunately, we're looking to either not play the Imprisonment or the Mimic at this point. Probably leaning blue-white, or blue-red, sorry, with this start if we go ahead and take Abrade here. But this is a really close pick. I think if you were biased toward blue-white, taking the Ancestor is defensible, which I kind of am biased toward blue-white, but Abrade, I think it's just that much better that I think it's worth taking here. And this could be a problem. Let's hope we can get through this draft then. Let's see, so 0 red except Guest, which doesn't really go in this, in this deck. There is a Dormant Grove though, and this card has been insane. So yeah, I'm not really impressed by either of these blue cards. Don't want Boarded Window, Ceremonial Knife. I'm going to take the best card in the pack, which is Dormant Grove. We've seen a lot of Mariners going around. Maybe 1 or 2 of them can wheel, and we can find ourselves maybe in red-green. Has some high toughness in red-green as well. So Dormant Grove can be really, really good in that deck. Okay, so there's an Ancestor here, which goes more in blue-white. There's a Cloaked Cadet. Evolving Wilds if we're looking to maybe splash one of these cards. Yeah, I think we'll go ahead and take the Ancestor, and I really don't know what route we're going down, unfortunately. We could just take the Wilds, maybe look to a Splash, Rending Flame, and a Braid in something. I think, I don't know, this is really difficult. I'm just going to take the Ancestor here and see what comes. There's a Reckless Impulse, which I think is the best card in the pack here. Haven't liked Crawling Infestation or Honeymoon Hearse. This is sideboard, not really looking for any of these. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Reckless Impulse and, again, kind of toe the line. This is not really where you want to be in this format as far as towing the line. But this has been a really difficult draft to navigate so far. There hasn't been pulls in many directions here. So I think we'll take Flourishing Hunter here. I don't think we need Anger. Siphon Essence and Nurturing Presence are fine, but we have our three best cards, well, are in blue-green, and then everything else is in red. It's very difficult here, so I think I'm just going to take the Flourishing Hunter. It's probably the best card in the pack. Syncopate or Snarling Wolf. I think I'm going to take Snarling Wolf, because right now we might be leaning red-green. We know we're not black, at least, so we're not going to take any of these black cards. None of these really want to go in a deck, so we'll take Pyre Spawn. Another Snarling Wolf is fine. Sharpshooter goes well with Dormant Grove, and I don't think I want any of these other cards here. Sharpshooter also goes well with Flourishing Hunter here. So a little bit of a messy first pack, but we'll take Ceremonial Knife, but we'll see if we can kind of get a direction here in pack 2. Not from the rare. Best card, maybe Alluring Suitor. Actually, very likely is Alluring Suitor. I think we'll go ahead and take it here. Very likely leaning red-green with a little bit of a butts package here with Dormant Grove and Flourishing Hunter. But definitely going to take Alluring Suitor. We can look to wheel something like Sure Strike or Sporeback Wolf, maybe even Voldarian Epicure. So we'll go ahead and take the Alluring Suitor. Another Dormant Grove. Okay, yeah, I think the second Dormant Grove is going to go ahead and solidify us in green. Very likely red-green. Maybe we can try to pick up some splashing in the green. Something like a Taxidermist or a Weaver to splash the Mimic, because I think this card is good. Although, now that I look at it, the Disturb is double blue, which is not easy to splash. But we're going to go ahead and take a second Dormant Grove here. There's a Brambleworm and an Abrade. This is a difficult pick. I haven't seen or played with Brambleworm, but I'm wondering how much better it is than Flourishing Hunter, right? It's an extra mana for an extra toughness, or an extra power. It does have Reach and Trample. It can come back. It gains you life. This also gains you life. There isn't a Braid, though. This is really difficult. Are we leaning low curve or high curve? Right now, I think we're leaning for the late game with these double Dormant Groves, so I think this might actually be a Brambleworm deck. I really do like a Braid. I'd love to get another one, obviously. But I think this kind of deck with double Dormant Grove lends itself to taking a Brambleworm here. Alright, so if we're leaning red-green, which I think we are here at this point, we'll take Visionary, good card. Reckless Impulse number 2, good. Hookhand Mariner number 1 is good. I don't think well, you know what? Let's take a look at curve considerations. We have 0 2-drops so far. I think we need the Visionary. I think this is more important on the curve than the Hookhand Mariner. It's noticeable we didn't get any of the Hookhand Mariners back in pack 1, which is not great. I don't want to be fighting over green in this format, but if we can get a Massive Might or a Reckless Impulse back out of this pack, I'd be totally fine with that. Kessig Wolf Rider, Fearful Villager. Yeah, we'll go ahead and take the good 1-drop. It's got Menace. It works well with Knife. Yeah. Dormant Grove can pump it and have Menace as well. So we'll go ahead and take Kessig Wolf Rider here. Weary Prisoner, Flame Breather. We currently have 2 instants, 1 sorcerer, 1 artifact, 2 enchantments. So there's a decent amount of triggers for this, and I think it's important to get a 2-drop. It's not the ideal one for this deck, but I think we only have 1 2-drop so far, and it's Visionary. And that can't even block when we flip it. So we're going to go ahead and take the Flame Breather here. Spore Crawler seems like a fine pickup for this deck. Let's take a look at our curve. Yep, Spore Crawler seems fine. Good 2 for 1 if we're able to trade with it. So I don't think this Mimic is going to make the deck here. It's a bit unfortunate. I think this draft was very easy to go multiple directions, especially in pack 1. And you could really commit it down a lane, either blue-white, red-green. I think black is the one color that was never really open for us. So maybe even blue-red could have been a possibility. So yeah, I think that's where we're leaning here. But here we are in red-green. So don't want retrieve. Don't think I would play a Lightning Wolf, but we'll take it because it's red. All right, let's see. So we did get back basically all of the cards I said would be fine to wheel. Let's go ahead and take the 2-drop and Sporeback Wolf. I didn't think this would be one of them that wheeled, but totally fine that it is. It's another wolf. We don't have a ton of wolf synergies right now. Actually, really any. But 2-drops are important. Spore Crawler is a good pickup. Go ahead and take our second Spore Crawler here. I think the Mimic needs to be moved to the sideboard unless we can have insane fixing pickups in pack 3 here. Don't think I want to consider playing any of these cards, but we'll cut green. Cut green again, doesn't matter. So let's see, going into pack 3, I think obviously a rare would be great for the deck. 2-drops are looking better. We need probably a little bit more interaction. Right now we have a Braid and Rending Flame. That looks to be it. So maybe a Wolf Strike, Flame Blessed Bolt, another a Braid. Things like that would be really what we're looking for. So on that note, I do see a Flame Blessed Bolt here. I think that's what we have to take. If this weren't in the pack, I think it'd be fine with another Flourishing Hunter. And I doubt this one wheels, but maybe it does. Celebrants would be another card that I'd probably play out of this pack. So the only 2 wheels we're really looking at are Hunter or Celebrants out of this pack. But I think we're going to go ahead and make sure we shore up some interaction with Flame Blessed Bolt here. Wouldn't mind picking up another Reckless Impulse. These red-green decks, I've noticed Reckless Impulse plays very well in them. All right, so we've got Hungry Ridge Wolf with 4 wolves. How many werewolves? 0 werewolves. Interesting. Okay. There's another Sharpshooter, which goes well with Dormant Grove. Another Spore Crawler. I think I'm going to take the 2-drop. In this format, I think it's more important to lean on the side of efficiency and mana than very similar cards. So I think if the Sharpshooter or the Spore Crawler came back, that'd be great. We'd probably consider playing either one. But let's take the 2-drop. A third... Oh, jeez. Sorry about that. Looks like my dog is a little upset about something. A third Dormant Grove here, or a second Flame Blessed Bolt. I don't think the deck can support 3 Dormant Groves. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Flame Blessed Bolt here. All right, here in the next pack, there's a Scorpion, there's an Anger, Combatants, Epicure, Prisoner. I don't know if we're going to consider any of these, but we'll go ahead and take the Epicure here, I guess. A second Brambleworm, a Massive Might, and an Oakshade Stalker. What's our curve looking like? We might be able to support 2 Brambleworms in this deck. We have a lot of low drops. We have 14 creatures, so we can start trading off. And if we can just drop Brambleworms, Flourishing Hunters, Dormant Groves, that's an insane late game. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Brambleworm. Would love to pick up a Massive Might for this deck as well. Here it is, but it's accompanied by another Reckless Impulse. In this, I don't know the pick. This is really difficult. With Flourishing Hunter, Dormant Groves, double Brambleworms, I think I want my first Massive Might pretty heavily. Again, I would love to play Reckless Impulse, and maybe one of those earlier ones comes around. But let's take our first Massive Might here. Child of the Pack, great pickup. So we are the only red-green drafter at this table, very likely. And we're going to go ahead and slam this Child of the Pack here. Pick 7, which is great. Got a Sure Strike and a Toxic Scorpion. I don't know if we'll play the Scorpion. I doubt we will, but we'll take it anyway. Celebrants did come back, but we're looking pretty good on the upper end of the curve, so I don't think we need to necessarily consider playing that. We do have another Spore Crawler, which is great. Another Ridge Wolf, which is great. So pack 3 really helped secure this deck for us, and what I think is going to be a pretty good late game red-green deck here. We've got the cards to trade early, and then we can really get them with our late game. I don't even know if we're going to need the knife. Depends if we get another impulse. If we get another impulse, I think we can go without having a knife in the deck. Oh, we got a Massive Might back anyway. I think I would definitely consider playing 2 in this deck, that's for sure. And a Statuette, not for us. All right, so a bit of an interesting deck build here. Let's see exactly what we want to do with this. I think both Dormant Groves need to stay in, because they're technically creatures on the backside. I don't think we need the Celebrants because we have a good enough top end here. I'd love to keep all 3 Spore Crawlers in. Sharpshooter and Alluring Suitor go well as well. Toxic Scorpion, Voldaren Epicure on the chopping block. I think I'll go ahead and cut those now. Don't know how that got in there. And I don't think we necessarily need the Knight. So we need 3 more cuts here. I'd like all of our non-creatures. So if we cut 3 more, we'll be down to 14 creatures, which I think is okay. Again, I'd like to keep all these. I think we can cut a wolf. Maybe we could consider cutting a second Massive Might. But I think that's going to be very important to getting these through in the late game to win. Probably the Flame Breather. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 triggers for it. Well, I guess 8, 9 triggers. But again, we're just trying to get here. Fortunately, we didn't pick up any ramp to help us get there quicker, but I think that'll be okay. Do we want to play 16 lands? I don't think we do because we have 2 7-drops and a 6-drop. So maybe we cut another Snarling Wolf here. And then we end up with 4 2-drops, 5 3-drops, a 1-drop, several removal spells, some ways to get through. I think that's actually going to work better. I hope these Dormant Groves can pull their weight and we don't get run over before they hit the ground. They are better with more creatures. Actually, now that I think about it, the fact that we have double Dormant Grove, I'd rather have another low drop creature. just to have more synergy with this. Because if we drop this on an empty battlefield, it does stone cold nothing. So we have to be able to have a creature down for this to do anything. And the Flame Breather already has 3 toughness, which goes well if we put a counter on it. It becomes a 2/4. So I think we'll run it like this. And then we'll add 17 lands. Yeah, I think we can go 9 red because of all the red 2-drops that we have, and then 8 green. We'll have that be done. And I'm going to go ahead and come back later. I'm going to go ahead and make an edit here because of the system maintenance that looks like might cut us off in the middle of our draft. So I'll be right back. All right, and we're back after a little bit of a system update here, ready to get back into round 1. But before we do, I wanted to go ahead and let you know that if you enjoy the content here and you'd like to see more of it, go ahead and click that subscribe button. It'd greatly help me out. Drop a like on the video, and then check out some of the other ones I've got out. I think this is maybe the 15th or 16th draft we have of the format. We got a lot of others. If you're interested in this kind of content, we've got a lot for you already and a lot more to come. So hopefully I'll see you in the subscribers, and let's go ahead and get into round 1 here. Alright, so we go first here. A bit of an awkward hand. We do have a 3-drop in Spore Crawler. We have a ton of 2-drops in the deck as well. Any land lets us drop Dormant Grove. We have a removal spell. I think it's a pretty easy keep, but has the ability to go wrong. That was a bit of a mistake there. I meant to drop the Rending Flame, but I was able to pass through the turn. I didn't want them to know that I had Massive Might there. So we'll go ahead and pass. That's also a bit of an awkward draw there. We don't really want to draw the 7-drops this early, but here we are. Alright, so we drew that 4th land. But like I mentioned in Deckbuild, if we don't have a creature on the battlefield, Dormant Grove gets significantly worse. So yeah, I think we should go ahead and get Dormant Grove going. Next turn we can Reckless Impulse into hopefully another creature or something. So do we have attacks? I think we do. Yep. All right, that doesn't seem to matter too much. I think we can afford to impulse here. See what we find first. They are getting priority, so they have something. Another Dormant Grove, so that'll come next turn. We can leave up Rending Flame or Massive Might right now into this attack if they try to do anything with the Vampire Slayer on blocks. So we'll go ahead and kill that. Next turn we'll have 6 mana, so we can play Dormant Grove. Hopefully this Spore Crawler survives, because again, these will do nothing if we have nothing on the battlefield, so hopefully no Imprisonment or Wolf Strike. Well, looks like the Dormant Grove just ran away with that game there. Awesome. I'm going to go ahead and double check my creature count to make sure that it's as high as I want it to be. It's been a few hours since Deckbuild for me because of the system update. So I just want to double check here. Yeah, so we're at 15, which I think is totally fine. Because I remember in deck build here, we got double removal. We do want the Massive Might. I'd like to have an Impulse. We have an Abrade. And then the Double Grove and a Rending Flame. Yeah, all those are outstanding non-creatures. So I think this is definitely how we want to keep it. Alright, 2-drop, 3-drop with a backup removal spell. Seems fine. So we can play Ridgewolf, the following turn Suitor, the following turn kill something and hopefully get in with both creatures to flip the Suitor. That'd be ideal, but we'll see what they play. Okay, not too particularly scared of that. We can also play Spore Crawler next turn and turn 4 the Suitor, attack with 2. Okay, neither of those really matter right now. So this flips to a 3/3. They still don't have great blocks on the board. So let's... What we could do is we could attack with the Ridgewolf, and if they double block, we could Abrade something, and then 2-for-1 them. That's a little mana inefficient. I think I'm willing to just kind of get onto the board and play for this Suitor line next turn where we can attack with 2 and transform it into a 3/3. They can start pumping stuff. Another Officiant, okay. That changes a little bit because next turn we can play Suitor plus hold up Abrade. So let's see if they have anything. They don't have anything here. I'm not willing to trade any of these for 1, so let's play Child of the Pack. Okay. Not particularly scared of that. So let's play the Suitor. And I think we're going to get in with... We have to get in with 2, that's for sure. So... Probably these 2. This works really, really well on blocks. They can likely just trade the Boar for maybe the Ridgewolf, but... I think I'm alright with that on this board. None of their creatures really matter past that. We have the best creatures on the board by far. If they go for a double block with like double Officiant or stuff or something, we can Abrade it. If they don't do any weird double blocks, then we can just make a wolf here with Child of the Pack. Yeah, we don't need to do anything else. Let's go ahead and make a wolf. And apparently that wolf was too much for them to handle. So, quick 2-0 here. Let's see if we can keep the roll going. Alright, we are on the play again. 2-drop, 3-drop Dormant Grove seems great. Snarling Wolf, okay. So we'll play the Ridge Wolf. Not sure exactly which creature we'll play on turn 3 here. Let's see what they do on 2. Blue-green, okay. Not gonna let them do that. Scorpion, okay, that's fine. I think we're gonna go ahead and just drop Spore Crawler here. And now that I think about it, that may have been a bit of an awkward play because Sharpshooter works really well with Dormant Grove next turn. We can pump its toughness to 5. But I don't know if we want to be flipping this super soon. We can just drop counters on this board until they prove they have something that's bigger than what we do. Like that in 3 turns. So definitely want to be mana efficient with the Dormant Grove here. We'll go ahead and make this a 3/3. And at some point we're going to have to trade something for the Scorpion, so we might have to start attacking here at some point. But again, I want to have backup creatures on the board to make sure the Dormant Grove can actually do something. 2-drop wouldn't be a bad draw, that way we can double spell next turn. Double 3-drop in hand's a little awkward with 5 lands, but not really going to complain about having 2 creatures in hand. Don't think we need to consider trading for that right now. Next turn we'll have a creature that we'll be able to bounce or trade with it, or probably just bounce it. Maybe they have a trick. Makes sense. They're going to sacrifice their 1/1, keep their Scorpion around. Another Dormant Grove. That means next turn if we draw a land, we can cast both of these creatures. Yeah, let's do it. Let's put one here. And so this is going to be a 4/3. We have 4/3 and a 4/4. That seems fine. Again, at some point we're going to have to trade for the Scorpion. We do have some removal spells in our deck, though, that we could draw. So I'm wondering if we should just either trade now or... Because if we trade with the Spore Crawler, it gives us 2 shots at a land to drop 2 creatures next turn, which I think is fine. If we attack with the Spore Crawler, they could just attack with the Assistant, or block with the Assistant, which is not great for us, because that leaves the Scorpion behind. If we attack with the Ridge Wolf, they basically are priced into blocking with the Scorpion, or just taking it. Absolute worst case, if we don't draw a land, next turn we can play Sharpshooter, put 2 1/1 counters on it, and then have 2 3/6 Vigilances as well, and then we don't get the counters anymore, which won't trade for the Scorpion. So let's see if they want to take this trade here. Because I'd rather not trade Spore Crawler for Assistant at this point. So if they trade with Scorpion, I think I'm okay with making that at this point. Because again, we're going to have to get it off the battlefield at some point. We want to keep dropping creatures on the field. Grolnok, okay. So whenever a frog you control attacks, mill 3 cards, and then whenever a permanent card is put into your graveyard from your library, you can play those cards as long as Grolnok is on the battlefield here. Good target for a Braid. We don't want to be blocking here. Another awkward draw. I think we go a Sharpshooter, put both counters on it, and then we have a bunch of 3/6s and things like that. Next turn, another land lets us do this. So they're getting priority for a single blue. They might have Alchemist's Retrieval, which can't target us right now because they need 2 mana to do that. Ooh, awkward. Okay. So next turn we'll probably be able to do that. So let's get in there with the Grove Strider. And I think I'm fine trading Spore Crawler. I'm fine with them taking 7 as well. So they have to have 2 removal spells for the Grove Strider and the Sharpshooter next turn to not flip another Dormant Grove for us. So that's pretty good. So they're going to have a 5/5 here after they use the mana with the statue. Looks like they have a trick of some kind. They can play 2 lands and a Rural Recruit here now. They almost assuredly have a trick. So if we double block like this, even Witch's Web can't get them out of that. It just lets them trade for the Sharpshooter, which is fine with us. They would need Witch's Web plus Massive Might, which would still not kill both of our creatures. It would just let theirs survive. It would kill one of ours, which is still a 2-for-1. Yeah, so I think this block is fine here. They almost assuredly have Alchemist Retrieval in their hand. They might be thinking about bouncing one of our creatures. They might bounce their own. Yeah, they'll bounce their own to save it. I'm fine with that exchange. Because if they just want to recast Grolnok, I'm totally cool with that. Yeah, that's not going to really work out super well for them, I don't think. Alright, so we'll go ahead and cast a pre-combat Alluring Suitor. They still have priority. They didn't flip their statue. Are they keeping up another Alchemist Retrieval? We'll go to combat. We'll put the counter here. Then we'll go ahead and attack probably with just these 2 to flip the suitor. Yeah, this won't turn over. So let's attack with these 2 so we can flip the suitor. This will get trained. And we can afford to use that 2 mana here in combat so we can post-combat the Spore Crawler. Awkward. You must have not read that correctly. Happens on your own end step. Not as soon as you use the mana. Okay, so let's go ahead and use this to pump this one. And then post-combat, we can play a Spore Crawler. And barring an enormous board wipe, then if that creature has toughness 6 or greater. Okay. So we need to put the counter on something either the Grove Strider or the Sharpshooter to flip our Dormant Grove here. Which on this board would be lethal unless they do something about it. Yeah, so you need to use that mana now if you want a 5/5. There you go. There's your 5/5. So I think we want to flip this. It'll have haste because it's been on the battlefield. Everything will have vigilance. They have to block every creature. So basically the best block they would have would be Thresher on either of these, but then we can hold up enough mana to really make things go crazy here. So yeah, let's go ahead, go to combat. Let's put it on this so that the Sharpshooter can still get trained. And then we'll just get in there. And now their blocks are really not good here. Sure. And then they have to chump literally everything else. Awkward. Looks like they misclicked there. So unless they gain life, which I don't think they do, we just win from a 5/4 getting through. Sure. All right, double Dormant Grove leading us to victory there. Very, very strong card. Not a ton of reasons to be green this format, but Averbrook Caretaker's one, Dormant Grove is probably another. So definitely not unhappy to see 2 of those in this draft. We saw 3, but 3 might be pushing it a little bit. Alright, so we're on the draw. We can play a Ridgewolf. Any land lets us play Rending Flame, and a green really, really opens up this hand, so I think it's fine to keep this. At least that's another card we can play. Again, another card we can play, but I'd like to draw green. Awkward. This isn't a wolf, but go ahead and play it. Leave up Flame Blessed Bolt here. Sure. May as well just be mana efficient and use this now. Sure. Maybe this will be enough to get through. Who needs 3 lands? When you have a bunch of 2 mana 3/2s. Okay, gonna braid that. And now we have lethal with the Rending Flame, so if they just play 1 creature, we technically have lethal on board. Okay, drew their second color. Hopefully they don't have 2 lands, or 2 creatures. There's 1. Well, I guess we go for it. Alright, well, that was a bit of a strange game, but we got there. All right, red really opens up this hand as well. We do have Spore Crawler. If we draw a Dormant Grove, we can cast it. So, again, a bit awkward, but I don't think we're in the business of being able to mulligan this. There's a red. Really good target for Bolt here as it exiles it. Yeah, we'll go ahead and play Spore Crawler first. We're not really going to be able to transform the Suitor very well. We can just play this and try to attack next turn, but that's assuming they don't play a creature that's too big. But I think that's what we have to try to do here. Hopefully we're done drawing lands for the game, because we have enough to even cast Brambleworm in our hand, so we don't need any more. Looks like they're stuck on mana, maybe, but they do have at least a play. Might have Imprisonment to kind of stop our board a little bit. Heron of Hope. Okay, that's fine. Alright, so we'll attack with both here. And go to blockers. So this costs 2. We can activate this twice. Sure. And then we'll play our 2-drop. So either mono white or stuck on land. So unless we draw another mountain, which I'd prefer not to, we can only activate this once. Okay, that should be fine if they want to attack, because we still have good attacks on the backswing if they don't play a great attacker here. They don't. Okay, so, well, we did draw the mountain, so let's go ahead and just get in there with all of them and see what they do. Probably a Fierce Retribution to kill something, or Piercing Light. Okay. Sure, that means we get to draw a card at least. All right, interesting. So we can pump and still play Child of the Pack here. So this does have trample. So they're just going to chump. They still have something here, so might have another Fierce Retribution. Oh, they're just going to chump. Okay, we'll play Child of the Pack post-combat. Not even giving it lifelink. Uh-oh. 6-drop. Ah, there it was. Yep. All right. It's a bit unfortunate, but let's see if we can rally back with some good top decks here. We have 8 lands already. It's a good target for Bolt. Haven't gained any life, so sure. That ain't gonna do it, that's for sure. So now it's a top deck battle, except they've got a 2/2 flyer and another 2/2. Pretty good draw for us there. Dormant Grove, here's the problem of it not doing anything on this battlefield, so... Yeah, and they're just drawing out of it here. What do we kill? Probably the bat. Yeah, I think we just need to kill the bat here. And if we don't top deck something next turn, we lose. Brambleworm would be a nice top deck. Good God. Stop. They've drawn nothing but creatures, and we've drawn a card that doesn't do anything and a card draw spell. So I don't think there's anything that gets us out of it at this point. Yep, that won't do it. So the Wrath got us there. Might have been able to claw back if they had even taken one turn off of top decking creatures there. But they kept top decking creatures, we just kept taking more and more damage, so. Yikes. Gosh, okay, so we have 3-drop, 4-drop, 6 and 7 with only 3 lands. The good news is lands or creatures are good draws here. Bit of a yikes and keep. At least they milled their Necro duality, so they can get back a Gargantua with the Butler. Okay. It's a good draw for either of these creatures, but I think we just need to get ours on the battlefield. Next turn we can probably just drop Dormant Grove and then see where we go from there. Okay, so they drew out of their land issue here. That's fine. So I think we just need to go ahead and put down Dormant Grove. I think I'm going to go ahead and actually pump the Wolf here. Becomes a 3/3 on their turn, which lines up well against the Servitor. We could attack with both and have a 3/5 and a 2/5. But doing that, they're going to get back the Gargantua. We're going to have to sacrifice one of these creatures. I'd rather be able to bolt the Butler here at some point. Not to mention, this would still only trade for probably a Blood Servitor, which I'm not willing to do, so. So a 4-drop would be a good draw here, so we could bolt plus play a 4-drop. Don't think we have a main deck way to deal with that, unfortunately. Land is not awful. That ensures next turn we have Flourishing Hunter. So I do want to be able to exile the Butler. But let's first do this. Put it on here. We'll transform the Grove, and then we'll get in and see how they choose to block. Okay. Yeah, so we'll just... I know we missed out on 4 damage doing it this way, but I don't want them to be able to get something back here. And the next turn we can drop Flourishing Hunter, gains 6 life, and then if we draw a land, we'll do Brambleworm, and then we're just going to town. Hopefully we can outrace this Dollhouse is the only issue. So right now they have 2 creatures they can use with it, and they're probably going to start chumping. So which creature do we get rid of? Probably the sharpshooter. Yeah, I think we get rid of the sharpshooter. Hopefully they don't kill the Grove Strider. Okay, so there's a farmer. Interesting. So we'll play a land. So the Grove Strider would only trade for one creature if we attacked with it, which I do not like. So let's just get in there with the wolf. I'm fine trading this for 2 creatures. No blocks, and then we'll play a Flourishing Hunter. All right. So this Blood Servitor is pumping these as well. Okay, so we can get in with Wolf and Hunter, fine, and leave back Grove Strider, play Brambleworm post-combat. I think that works out all right. They are getting priority, which is kind of scary, but... Okay, that makes sense. The block makes sense there, but at least shrinks the one that we leave behind. We'll go ahead and kill this one because this one has a death trigger. They might just kill the hunter here. Yeah, that's what it looks like. It's fine, because now we can play a Brambleworm. And now that's the biggest thing on the battlefield. Oh, darn. Or another zombie. Maybe you should go ahead and read the cards, James. Okay, so they've got a Rot-Tide Gargantua again. They can sack something here to make us kill our Brambleworm. If we play the Spore Crawler first, that makes this Gargantua much worse. So they can exile a Mind Leech Ghoul and get our last card, which is also bad for us, but I don't know if they're willing to do that, considering we could just be bluffing holding a land. Really close game here. They've kind of gotten rid of a lot of our late game. Assuming this Brambleworm isn't able to survive. So let's see if they want to sacrifice here. If they do, that's really bad for us, but they're probably thinking if we have a land. They don't. Okay, yeah, they think we might just have a land. Now, if they do want to exploit this, we can sacrifice the Spore Crawler. And then our Brambleworm is good to go on this battlefield now. No attacks. They're getting a ton of value out of this dollhouse here. This is going to be hard to grind through. We do have 9 lands. Yeah, 9. So we only have 8 left in the top 24. So better than average chance that we're going to draw out of not drawing non-land here. But again, every single time one of their creatures dies, they can just keep making more creatures that pump themselves and everything. So this is going to be difficult to outrace this dollhouse, unfortunately. Yeah, we don't really even have any flyers in this deck, so I'm not really sure how we're going to get through the rest of this. They also have a Catapult Fodder coming, which can just start throwing creatures at our face. Makes sense, but we'll go ahead and just get rid of our land here. Yeah, they're getting a ton of value here. This is really hard to race. Their deck's kind of ridiculous. They have Necro Duality and Dollhouse. Gosh, if they had gotten both of those on the board, we'd be very quickly on to the next game. It's a good attack there. So they have a Mind Leech Ghoul in hand, so we're going to go ahead and bounce that so that it doesn't die, so they can't get rid of one of our creatures, and then we'll probably need to kill... Well, this one, blocking here, shrinks. Yeah, this doesn't give them a trigger off of these Arch Ghouls, and it shrinks down the rest of their artifact creatures. So I think we'll go ahead and block like this. Take 8. Little small ball on this board, but at least it's a creature. This is one of the coolest decks I've seen on the other side of the battlefield so far this format. They really got there on the whole zombie dollhouse thing. So don't think there's really a chance of us decking them, but you never know. Pretty straightforward blocks here. I know they can get the Harvester back, but we can't just keep taking 4 every turn, so we have to kind of let that one die. Okay. I doubt they're going to want to sacrifice something. Looks like they do. Because they get all of the triggers from it, I suppose. So this can get rid of their Arch Ghoul of Thraben. Do we just do that now? Probably. Could also get rid of their Blood Servitor to make all the other creatures they get back smaller. Maybe one of our only ways to win is they keep getting triggers off of the Arch Ghouls and dumping cards in the graveyard and accidentally mill themselves a little bit too much. Maybe that's wishful thinking, but let's let them go to their turn, see what they attack with, and we can bolt the Servitor to shrink their artifact creatures if they try to attack with them. As soon as either of these creatures leaves the battlefield, I think we're just about packing it in, though. So, sure. So, if they exploit do we get a chance to respond? I don't know the answer to that question, so I'm going to just not risk it. Okay, that was a bit awkward. Oh, they just wanted to get all their triggers again. All right, that's fine. So because this is a token, this can't transform. It doesn't have a backside. So yeah, so that opens up pretty good attacks for them this turn with just about everything. Let's see, so if we block here, we take 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and we're basically just dead next turn, but we don't really have another choice. Yeah. Well, this has vigilance, so may as well get in. So let's see, block, 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 take 4. So we're not dead yet. Well, take 6, I guess, because they're going to get something back. A Doom Dissenter or Catapult Fodder. That makes, oh, and it has haste. So take 9. So let's see, block, 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 and die. Sure. Yep. Turns out Dollhouse of Horrors is still pretty good, especially in their deck. So. Here we go. Anybody wish to email cpkreka@hotmail.com? Don't know why you would put your email as your name, but okay. I see your rare, and I raise you mine. Okay, so we're just going to play the same game here. Except I'm going to be mana screwed and they won't. If we leave this back, it threatens a really good double block on the Wolf Rider. But they might have removal, but who knows. Yeah, with a red and a green up, they could have any number of things. They could have, oh, and a blue they're going to find. Okay, so we can't block the Wolf Rider anymore. Well, we can. It just trades for a creature. I mean, with us being on the back foot, being mana screwed here, I think I'm fine just letting them trade. Let's hope we hit a land. And we do, so at least there's that. So next turn we can play Child of the Pack. Following turn, Dormant Grove, flip it. Hopefully we have enough time to do that. Okay, so we're going to block their Ridge Wolf. I think we have to. I think we just need to play Child of the Pack and hope this survives. They just drop like another Mariner or something. I think I'm alright with that, so that we can just play Dormant Grove and get a 3/6 of Vigilance and another 3/6. Yeah, so we can't block here, unfortunately, because they've got some sort of trick and we need to keep our creature around. They have their own Child of the Pack. Okay. So we'll play Mountain and play Dormant Grove. This has Vigilance, but there's no point attacking, so. So do we double block the Mariner if they attack? They likely have something. Oh, okay. Pre-combat Scattered Thoughts, leaving up a Mountain. Okay, so likely drew 2 spells because they bend a Crushing Canopy. So this likely signifies Flame Blessed Bolt, and am I willing to trade either of these creatures for a Mariner plus a Bolt? I don't... That's tough. I think I'd be willing to trade a Flourishing Hunter for a Mariner plus a Bolt. But I don't know if I'm willing to trade either of these two. These are very important. So we'll go ahead and take it this turn. And there's the Flourishing Hunter. We could do double Spore Crawler, or we could just play Hunter. And I think I'm willing to just play Hunter. It just really solidifies our board presence here. And if we miss land drop next turn, then we can just go double Spore Crawler. So don't want to be attacking into the Scorpion. Okay. Okay, so they don't want to make that trade this turn. So let's just, we can do Ridge Wolf plus Child of the Pack. We can do double Spore Crawler. This has Vigilance, but again, we don't really want to be trading for the Scorpion. We could probably consider trying to go wider than them. So let's do double Spore Crawler here. Oh, I forgot. They have the Flame Blessed Bolt, so they're going to get rid of one of these at a really good mana discount, but I mean, not really much we can do about that. Wouldn't mind drawing our own Bolt or a Braid to get rid of the Toxic Scorpion so that we can start opening up attacks here. They might just flip the Child of the Pack here by using their mana and then passing it back to us, which I think is okay. Not the greatest, because ours flips as well, but I mean, kind of at a bit of a board stall because of this Scorpion. So they will go ahead and flip it tonight. And I think we just drop a Brambleworm. Yeah, so we've got a lot of ways to get the Scorpion off the battlefield in our deck. Okay, so we're playing very similar decks here. Guess we just have to play the Ridge Wolf and pass again, right? Yeah, that's what it seems like. I'm just hoping they don't play some insane bomb that we can't get out of, because at this point, who's decking first? They're decking first. So here's our answer to the Scorpion. All of our creatures have vigilance. So let's go ahead and just get rid of this to open up some attacks here. So this seems like a fine attack, and so does this. They're likely to trade one of them with the Pyre Spawn and then kill maybe our Ridge Wolf. Maybe trade Pyre Spawn and Riphook Raider here, but then their board is not looking particularly great. And the Pyre Spawn is going to deal 3 damage when it dies no matter what. We don't have a way to kill that and exile it, so looks like these are our 2 attacks. Let's see how they want to block. They could double block. And that's what I expected there. So that gets rid of 3 of their creatures and 3 of our creatures. Probably get rid of the Ridge Wolf, keep the Spore Crawler around so we don't draw another card. Makes sense. Now we have a very similar battlefield here, except they have 3 cards in hand and we have 0. And that creates a bit of an awkward conundrum for us, because now we can't block super effectively here. Because all their creatures are going to trade up quite a bit. Do we want to trade with the Spore Crawler? I don't even know. I think we can take it this turn and then see what comes. They may not even want to attack, because they know we're gaining 5 more life. Okay, so they do attack. Fortunately, we already used a Braid. We can't get rid of the Ripsaw, but yeah, go ahead. I don't think we want to be making that trade, at least not yet. So we'll pass. We'll gain 5 life. We'll draw another land. And then I think we can attack with Grove Strider and Packmate. What that would do is that would let them trade. They'd have to take one of them and then trade with the other one. So they'd probably trade with Packmate. Because I don't think we're going to out... If we just sit back, we're going to lose to a Ripsaw here. Especially considering we have 0 cards in hand. So they are going to make that trade. And they didn't even want to bounce the other one for some reason. So do that. If we double block, assuming no removal, we could get rid of the Spore Crawler. But they'll kill the Grove Strider. They'll gain 6 more life. Yeah, this is looking a little ugly. I think we need to try to get out of this. Yeah, I don't really know what's gonna get us out of this now here, unfortunately. So well, I forgot we had a second one of those. But still, on this board, it's not outstanding. So they can get up to 9 power. We have to double trade for it. I guess we play our land because we might need to use this at some point here. So they haven't drawn their splash card yet, which is a little scary as well. This will be a 10-9. So we could kill it, but then they're left with a 5-5 and we have nothing. But again, we're not in the business of just taking 10 over and over again. And that probably does it there. Yeah, we'll make that trade and then just kind of start getting owned by Glorious Sunrise here as we go on. So we'll draw another land. We'll draw a card that doesn't do anything. Sure, go ahead. Sure. I don't think we're gonna get to the point where we're going to be milling them out either, so. And that'll just do it there. So, unfortunately, it looks like we started off 4-0. The exact opposite of yesterday's video where we started off 0-2 and rattled it off to 4. Today we started off 4-0 and then lost 3 straight. There might have been a different way I could have played that last game to not quite get so far behind, but the Ripsaw really set things off because all those creatures are now trading basically 3 mana higher. There wasn't a ton I could do about that necessarily. We got close, but couldn't quite. I feel like the deck was really good. It's a really good green-red deck there. And you know what? We have now finished a draft above 50% win percentage, which, you know, is a win in my book, and hopefully we keep going up from there. So thanks so much for tuning in here. That'll do it for today's video, and I'm going to see you on Monday for your daily draft.